Okay, guys, so I decided to just pile the rest of my palettes here so that I don't have to be going back and forth, you know, placing palettes in front of me. But I'm not gonna lie to you, I am probably gonna keep most of these palettes because these are some of my favorite ones. But yeah, let's get started. Okay, first up I have the Morphe and Jeffree Star eyeshadow palette. This is what the palette looks like. I'm not gonna lie to you, I bought this palette because I loved Jeffree Star. I loved all of his makeup, I loved everything. I also do like Morphe, but I have to tell you that I wasn't impressed with this palette. I did a video in which my sister and I play with it because sometimes I do like to bring my sister in. My sister and I both have very different preference in our makeup, and so I think that it's fun to see two different eye looks using the same palette. So my sister and I did a video on this palette, and I wasn't really a fan of it. I don't think that it performed that well. So I think that I'm gonna let this palette go just because I know that I'm not too excited about it and it's not something that I'm gonna reach for a lot. So I think that I am gonna let this palette go. Next, we have the BH Cosmetics and Carly Bible. I forgot to mention on the last Carly Bible one that if you don't know who she is, she's a YouTuber as well. I'm not really too familiar with her videos, but I you know, I buy things not just because of the person, but I buy them because they catch my eye. I like the colors or whatever the case may be. But yeah, I found this one. I can't remember if I bought it off of the BH website or if I got it at TJ Maxx or Marshalls. I can't remember. But I do have to say this palette is actually pretty good. The highlights down here are very pretty. They are very intense. I think that I played with this palette maybe one time, and I haven't touched this since. And even though I really do like the highlights because they're so beautiful, I think that I'm gonna let this palette go just because I know that I'm not going to be you know, playing with it or touching it or anything. So I think that I am going to let it go. Next up, I have two of the Too Faced natural palettes here. We have the Natural Lust palette, which is this beautiful one here, and we have the Natural Love palette, which is the first one that came out. And I love these palettes. I know a lot of people weren't a fan of them, but I really do love these palettes. Now, I don't know if I need to keep both. Let me just see them side by side so I can decide. So they are kind of different. The Lust palette has a little bit more like darker shades, but it also has a lot of natural shades. And then this one has a lot of like lighter shades as well. So I mean, they are different in some ways, and I would love to keep both of them, you know, because that's the collector in me. But I don't know if I want to keep both of them. I think that I'm gonna keep the Lust palette, and I think that I'm going to gift the Natural palette to my sister. Actually, this palette was the palette that I used on my sister for her wedding day. I did my sister's makeup on her wedding day, and I used this palette because it kind of reminds me of like a wedding, like a bride and stuff. And I used this on her, and I think that she will like to have it because, you know, it was a special day for her. So I think that I'm going to give this to my sister, and I'm going to keep the other one. Okay, and then we have the Siente London and Jessica Rabbit eyeshadow palette. I bought this a while ago when Siente had all of the Jessica Rabbit stuff on sale. I haven't touched it yet, but the collector in me, I needed to have this. Jessica Rabbit is one of my favorite characters of all time, so I bought it for that reason. So I am definitely going to keep it because, you know, the collector in me wants to keep it. So I'm going to keep it. And then, of course, I have my Sailor Moon and Colourpop palette that I did a video on last week. And this palette is very, very beautiful. But apart from that, it's Sailor Moon. So I'm keeping this palette forever, you guys. I'm never letting it go. Then I have the Morphe Bronze Goals palette. This is what it looks like. It's your bronze dream in a palette. All shapes, all shades of bronze in one palette. I am gonna keep this palette. I do have plans for this palette, so I'm gonna keep it for now. Then I have these two Essence palettes. I have the Hey LA and the G Day Sydney. I actually bought these palettes last week. I do enjoy their color stories, but I bought these palettes for an upcoming video, so stay tuned for that. Next, I have my Natasha the Nona Tropics palette. I hauled this not that long ago when Sephora was having a huge sale. I think they still have it on sale, actually. And when I swatched it, I told you guys that I wasn't a big fan of it now that I have it here in person. But I'm going to keep it, obviously, because it's Natasha the Nona. It was expensive, and I really do want to play with it on my eyes. So I'm keeping that. Then I have the MAC and Selena palette. They launched not that long ago. There's Selena right there. And this palette is beautiful. I also have a video on this palette, and I do like it a lot. So I'm for sure keeping this. This is another thing that the collector in me is going to keep forever. So I'm keeping that. Up next, I have the BH Ready in Tokyo palette. And BH Cosmetics was having a sale not that long ago, in which everything was like over 75% off. So it was an awesome sale. So I picked up a few things that I've been wanting to try. And one of them was this beautiful palette right here. As you guys know from my Sailor Moon video, one of my biggest dreams and goals is to go to Japan one day, specifically Tokyo, and I had to get this palette because, you know, it's my dream destination and the colors are beautiful, so I'm keeping. Then I have the Colourpop and Disney Villains eyeshadow palette. This is the Misunderstood palette. I created a few looks using this palette when it first launched, and I like the palette. It's not my favorite palette, but you know, the collector in me is gonna keep it because we are Disney people in this family, and I do love the whole concept behind this. The shadows and everything, they're good. It's not my favorite palette, unfortunately. The color story is not my favorite, but I do love the concept of it, so keeping. Then I have the Makeup Revolution, what is this called? The Courage Wild Animal palette, and of course this is the Leopard version. They have a few. They have like a zebra print. They have a few different animal prints, but of course I had to get the leopard one, and the colors are beautiful. I also have a video using this palette, and I do like it a lot. The quality is really good, so I'm keeping that. When I placed the BH Cosmetics order, I also bought this palette right here, and this is the Glam Reflection Gilded palette, and I just really like the color story in this palette. It's so neutral and beautiful, and I can't wait to try it on my eyes. I do like the BH Cosmetic formulas, so I know that I'm gonna like it. Then we have the e.l.f. and J. Kissa palette. This is how I decided to decorate my palette. I decided to put my girls' names on it. I offered my daughter to put her name in here, but she said no. So
there wasn't enough stickers for me to put my name. Don't
yes, there
them.
was.
No.
Yes, there was.
No.
Anyways, I decided to put Olivia, which is my gray cat, and Luna, which is my black cat. And then, of course, I had to put the Luna, or the moon, there, and the little alien, and then the heart for Olivia because she is like the biggest teddy bear ever. I put my initials, and Florida because that's where I live. And then I just decorated it with like little cute things. But then this is what the palette looks like. I haven't played with this palette yet, and I can't wait to dig in there. So of course I'm keeping it. Then I have the Jaclyn Hill and Morphe palette. This is the first one that she came out with. And this is a beautiful palette. It has a lot of really beautiful shades. That blue one, it's really good. As you can see, it's well loved. I've used it a lot. So I'm definitely going to keep it. I do love Jaclyn Hill. And I feel like this palette is amazing. So I am for sure keeping. Then I have the Emily Noel the Once palette, which is like the really big one. I showed you guys the face palette, but then this is the bigger one. Mine, the mirror arrived broken, and the company was sold out, so they couldn't send me a new one. So they actually gave me my money back, and what I did was that I cleaned up the palette from the glass as much as I could, but I haven't played with this palette yet. I do have a video planned for it, so stay tuned for that. But it's a very pretty palette, but I think that I'll make my decision once I film that video and see the quality of the shadows themselves. So I'm gonna keep it for now. We have the Aura and Out Colourpop palette. This is one of their newer palettes that just came out. It's another one of the 9-pan palettes, and when they launched this palette, they launched 2 other color stories. I think they launched one that is like a little bit more purple, one that's a little bit more peachy, and then this one. And I decided to go with this one because I don't really have colors like these in any of my palettes. So that's the reason why I decided to pick this one up. And I haven't tried it on my eyes yet, but I am hoping to do so soon. So I'm definitely keeping that. This right here is actually a face palette that I forgot to show you guys on that declutter, but this is the Smashbox face palette. This is the holidays face palette that came out, I think like maybe 2 Christmases ago, and it's just like a bunch of bronzers and highlights. And I haven't really used this palette much. I did buy it when it came out that Christmas, but I haven't used it much. I am going to keep it for now because I want to use it a little bit more. I want to make it a point to use my stuff a little bit more, you know, because I paid money for this, so I want to use them more. Okay, next we have the Too Faced Pretty Rich eyeshadow palette. I also used this in a video, and I really do like this palette. I know a lot of people didn't really like it. I don't know why, because I think that it's a beautiful palette. The glitters are amazing, and I love the packaging. Yes, it's bulky, but it's really pretty, so I'm gonna keep it because I really do like it. Then we have the Too Faced Life is a Festival palette, and this palette is beautiful. I have a video on this palette and I loved it. I thought that the colors were beautiful. I loved my eyeshadow that day, so I'm for sure keeping it. I love everything from that line, so I'm keeping it. I have the e.l.f. Retro Paradise eyeshadow palette. Of course, this is brand new. I made a video. Is it my favorite palette? No, it's not my favorite palette, but it's like the colors are pretty. I did have a hard time with this green one right here, but I made it work. I do want to keep the palette a little bit longer because I do want to try some of the other colors in here that also caught my eye. This white shade is very crumbly, very glittery, so but if you want to know more about my thoughts on this, go and watch that video. I'll link it down below. Like I said, it's a fairly recent video. It's a fairly recent launched. It's a pretty palette. You just have to be patient with it. Then I have this Colourpop Chasing Rainbows palette. It's a very pretty palette. I actually got this as a free gift for a purchase that I did a long time from Colourpop. As you can see, I haven't even touched it. But because I have so many colors like these, I think that I am going to pass this palette along to somebody else. Then I have this Good Sports palette from Colourpop. This is a really pretty palette. I bought it a while ago because obviously, hello, Leopard. And it's just really beautiful. And also Emily Noel, she said that this is one of her favorite palettes, so I wanted to try it. But I haven't tried it yet, but I will, because these colors right here look beautiful. So I am definitely going to keep this and play with it. Then I have this Anastasia palette, and this is the Master Palette by Mario. Mario is a makeup artist. If you guys don't know, he is the makeup artist for Kim Kardashian. And actually, I got this palette for my, I think it was my 30th. I think it was my 30th birthday from a good friend of mine. So, you know, guys, I told you I can't part with gifts. So I am going to keep this one. Plus, it is a really good palette if you can get your hands on it. I don't know if they still sell it, but if you can get your hands on it, or if you have this palette, this is a really, really good palette. It's really nice. The formula and everything, it's really good. So I'm keeping that. I also have the Sweet Talk Press Powder palette from Colourpop, and this is a really pretty palette. These colors are like my type of colors, the peachy tones and everything. Very beautiful. I believe that this is like one of the best Colourpop palettes they have, so I'm for sure keeping that. Then I have two Urban Decay palettes here. I have the Urban Decay Cherry palette. And then these are the colors right here. They're all like in the purple family. I do like this palette. This was actually a gift to myself for my birthday a couple of years ago, or when it first came out. So I am going to keep it. And then this is one of the newest Naked palettes. This is the Honey palette, and this is also a very, very beautiful palette. I've used it a couple of times. I do love it. I love that yellow shade right there. So of course I am going to keep it. Then I have the Dominique Cosmetics Latte 2 palette, and this is a brand new palette to my collection. I just bought it during the 4th of July weekend. She was having a really good deal in her website, and this is a palette that I knew that I've been wanting for a really long time. Since she first launched it, I've been really like wanting this palette. This color right here is calling my name like really bad, so of course I'm keeping because I just got it. Then I have this Charlotte Tilbury eyeshadow palette. This is the Pillow Talk palette, and this is the color story right here. Very pink, very natural. This is a very, very beautiful palette. It's a very expensive palette, and this is a palette that I bought for myself. It's a palette that I've been wanting since it came out. I don't really have much things from Charlotte Tilbury. She is a very expensive brand. She is luxury. But I knew that I wanted that palette from the moment I saw it, and I didn't buy it for a video. I didn't buy it for any other purpose than because I wanted it for myself. That's the reason why I haven't really talked about it or nothing until now. It's just, you know, sometimes you just want things for yourself, not to share, not to review, not to do any of that. You just kind of want them because you want them, and that's what this was for me. I just really, really, really wanted this, so I'm for sure keeping it. And then I have all of my Too Faced palettes, which I can already tell you I am keeping every single one of them. I'm actually trying to collect them all. I sound like Pokemon, gotta collect them all.
Catch them all.
But, well, my phrase is I'm gonna collect them all. And I am missing a couple of them, I believe. Or maybe I believe I'm just missing one. I'm not quite sure. I'm missing one or two. I'm not quite sure. But I am trying to collect them all. This one is my favorite. The Peach palette by Too Faced is my all-time favorite palette. As you can see, it's very well loved. I used this one for my job a lot because the colors are beautiful and neutral. So of course I'm telling you, I'm gonna keep them all. But I'm gonna go through them with you. So that one is my favorite. Then I have the Chocolate Gold palette, which I got for Christmas a while ago, like a few years ago, and I haven't really played with it much. I played with like a couple of shades here, and I do like it. I love the pigment and the formula of the glitters. They're very, very pretty, so I really do like that palette a lot. I have to say that out of all of them, this one is my least favorite one. This is the Chocolate Bonbons. This is what it looks like on the inside. I don't know, when I see this palette, it doesn't really like inspire me to create any looks or anything. It's a little bit more cool toned than the other palettes. Maybe that's the reason, I'm not quite sure. But like I said, I am trying to collect them all, so I am gonna keep it. But if I was going to get rid of any of them, I think this is the one that I would get rid of. Then I have the original Too Faced chocolate bar. This one, you guys, I haven't even touched. It's brand new. I got it off of the Too Faced website when it was on sale a little bit ago. And like I said, I'm trying to collect all of these because they're my favorite. Well, I love Too Faced and they're my favorite, like, packaging. It's so beautiful. So I am trying to collect all of these, like, hard tint type of palettes from Too Faced. So this one is the recent to my collection, even though it's the original palette. But yeah, I haven't even touched it, so of course I'm keeping. Then I have the Semi-Sweet chocolate bar, which this one is also well loved. I think this is one of like my very first Too Faced purchases ever, and I really do like it a lot, so keeping. And then I have the two Gingerbread palettes. I have the Spice and the Extra Spice, which just came out last year, and I haven't really played much with these. I don't even think I've touched this one at all, to be honest with you, but of course I am keeping. And then the Extra Spicy, which is also very beautiful. I did play with this this shade a lot. But yeah, you guys, that is it. I am sorry this video was probably really long. But that is all of my eyeshadow palettes. Just quickly, I'm going to show you what I'm getting rid of. So I'm getting rid of these.
That's it.
That is all. I know this category was really hard, but in my defense, I had already decluttered my palettes a little bit ago. I had given my mom a bunch of the palettes that I decluttered, and like I said, she put them in the luggage in the closet somewhere, and it's really hard for us to get them right now. But I did declutter my palettes a while ago, so oh wait, I am getting rid of this one as well.
Oh yay,
okay, so I don't feel so bad now, so I am getting rid of those. And then this one is going to my sister. So I am getting rid of all of these. So maybe I don't feel so bad anymore. It's still really bad though. But yeah, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Don't judge me, please.
Please judge her.
No.
In the comments, judge her. I give you permission.
I know I have a makeup problem, but I do enjoy it as my happy place. I love creating looks with all of these things. And like I said, I'm gonna try my very, very best to create more looks using my things. I want to start creating looks for Instagram. I want to do maybe TikTok. So we'll see. I have plans. I have the time now because I'm mostly home, so I have the time. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you want to see a makeup hoarder in action. Don't forget to subscribe, join the family, don't judge me too hard, and I will catch you guys in my next video. I am so embarrassed right now. Bye.
Bye.